This video is brought to you by CatBeast.com. Design your own custom snapbacks and hats.
How's it going, guys? My name's Wilson. Before we start this video, I'd like to give a shout out to my sponsor, CatBeast.com. CatBeast.com is your one-stop shop for custom snapbacks made from people all around the world. You can design your own custom hats, snapbacks, beanies, and finding other great designs that suit your fitting. Now on to the video. Eric Bledsoe, his best days behind him, had his moments with the Bucks but failed to show up in previous postseasons. I will give him credit for being a big part of Milwaukee's regular season success, both 2019 and 2020, averaged 15.5 points, 5.5 boards, 48% shooting, but diminished heavily in the postseason, averaged under 13 points, 40% shooting, and awful 24 from 3, simply not gonna get it done, was one of the best defenders in the league, even made first team all defense in 2019, defensive second team 2020, making a little less of an impact with New Orleans. Bledsoe actually started his first 3 seasons with the Clippers, the backup to Chris Paul during his second and third year, spent time in Phoenix, part of that 3-point guard tandem of Dragic and IT for the 2015 Suns, a solid player then, averaged a career best 21 points, 6.5 assists on a 24-win Suns team in Devin Booker's second season. Despite being a good player in his 20s, will always be known for his infamous tweet, "I don't want to be here," got his wish going to a good team but couldn't capitalize when the team needed him most, destroyed by Terry Rozier in the 2018 playoffs, 8 points in the elimination game 6 versus Toronto in 2019, an awful 2 of 20 shooting in game 5 versus Miami, not good enough to give Giannis extra help, now just a regular season starter for an average team. George Hill, who's with the rebuilding Thunder, I expect him to join a contender. A team like the Clippers should absolutely pursue him, not a star by any means, but solid in all aspects, best 5-year stretch of 13.5 points, over 4 assists as a starting point guard, a big part of the Paul George, Roy Hibbert Pacers team back in the day, a guy who can contribute to any playoff caliber team, will sadly always be blamed for missing a free throw in game 1 of the 2018 finals. Wasn't like the Cavs were gonna win that series anyway. Hill can handle the ball, control the tempo, something the Clippers lack, can also spot up, knock down shots. Some say he's a poor man's version of Mike Conley, a guy who plays D, shoots well, and rarely turns the ball over, will turn 35, needs to demand out of OKC now if he wants to have a chance to contend. Jeff Green, who's aged very well, being the 5th pick of the 2007 draft, the same class with teammate KD, started their Thunder career together. Green was the second best player on that team in year 2, averaged 16.5 points, 3.5 seasons with the team before being in the Kendrick Perkins trade. Green also had open heart surgery, something we were uncertain if he was gonna come back from, but played some of his best basketball with Boston, averaged 17 points for the 2014 rebuilding team, had stints with Memphis, Clippers, Orlando, 10 different teams throughout his career thus far. It's an absolute travesty. Green keeps ending up signing for the minimum the last 5 seasons on 1-year deals. How in the world do guys like Tiffany Moscow and Jan Mahimi sign for $64 million and Uncle Jeff just over $2 million a year? Absolute lunacy. Green also recently had a new agent summer 2020. Thank goodness, because his former agent was a terrible negotiator. Averaged 11 points a game for the 2018 Cavs team, had 19 big points in game 7 against Boston 2018 conference finals. If Green didn't have his A game that night, LeBron wouldn't have made the finals. Green waived by the Jazz last season, only to get picked up by Houston and play super well with James Harden, now giving good production with Brooklyn, an underrated athlete throughout his career who can still get up and very capable of knocking down outside shots. JJ Redick, one of the rare good college 4-year white players. Redick looked like a bust early on. The 11th pick of the 2006 draft, was talked about as the best player in college alongside Adam, who you haven't heard from in years, Morrison, both NCAA legends. If he was drafted in the 2010s decade, many would be calling him bust, similar to Nick Stauskas, but Redick eventually figured out his career, averaged under single digits each of his first 4 seasons. I bet you forgot he was on the 2009 Orlando Magic finals roster, didn't flourish until age 28 in 2013, averaged 13 a game, a strong stint with Milwaukee, being a full-time starting shooting guard with the Clippers from 2014 to 17, a sniper from deep, knows how to cut and get open, a quick release, career over 41% from deep, averaged 16 points, 44 from 3 with LAC, had his best scoring season season in year 13, age 34, something you almost never see. Averaged over 18 points for the stacked 2019 Sixers team, now stuck in New Orleans, reuniting with Statman Gundy, made over $104 million for his career. Redick, the type of player who gets better with more experience, not athletic, not good on D, but super consistent with his movements and stroke. It's also an absolute travesty. Kyle Korver was named an All-Star in 2015, and JJ Redick will never be an All-Star. JJ clearly the better player and will quickly turn 37 after this season. Trevor Ariza, who got passed around more than anybody this summer, getting paid almost $13 million for the season, hasn't played a single game yet for OKC. One of the first players to be called a 3-and-D guy in the 2010s, didn't get off to the best career start, drafted in the second round, a former Knick, played with the Magic, a huge part on the 2009 championship Lakers team, terrific on D, underratedly athletic in his mid-20s, became a very good player with Houston, a 15-point scorer in his prime, a role guy all his career, very likable teammate, good leadership qualities. The end of his career is nearing. Eric Gordon was supposed to be one of the next big stars in high school, had a stellar rookie season, averaged 16 points, all the potential in becoming a multiple-time All-Star. Gordon actually participated in the dunk contest his second season, even averaged 22.3 points in year 3, but played 56 games. The knee problem started ruining his breakout season, only 22 at the time, then traded in the Chris Paul package, but couldn't catch a break, forced to get knee surgery, limited to 9 games his first season with New Orleans, continued to have injury problems, never truly reached his full potential, nearly missed half of the 2013 season. In 5 seasons with New Orleans, Gordon missed 173 of a possible 394 games, could have been a legit second option with AD, later signed with Houston, fitted nicely on and off as a starter and bench player, putting up between 14 to 18.5 points in H-Town, a good compliment with James Harden, still very valuable, even scored 50 once. When CP3 was hurt, Gordon stepped up big time and proven to be a useful second option on a great team, will be under contract till 2024 after signing a 4-year $75 extension in 2019. Rudy Gay, who's been in the league since 2006, a good one-on-one ISO guy who changed his game with San Antonio at the latter stages of his career, able to adapt and play within the flow, put up 20 a game in year 2, a good player who's been under the radar the last few seasons, super athletic, good ball handling and quickness, a slasher, but developed a bad reputation of being inefficient, especially being a number 1 scorer. He's more like a second option on offense. Memphis thrived without him, 6.5 seasons with the Grizz, averaged 18 a game, ended up on the awful Kings, a 21 points a game guy in his prime. Rudy's best All-Star case in 2015 when Durant was out, Griffin and AD out too, teammate Cousins was the other alternative. Instead, they named 36-year-old Dirk as the replacement over Rudy Gay, a good talent but hated by the analytic nerds. Danilo Gallinari, very underrated, always put up solid scoring numbers, a good player on the Knicks. New York honestly gave up too much for Melo. Gallo was actually one of the Knicks' good lottery picks throughout the 2000s, but injury prone, banged up, had knee issues, just on and off with his injuries. The most games he's played in the season, 81, second most, only 71. Proved he could be one of the go-to scorers on a playoff team. The 2019 Clippers averaged 19.8 points, capable of starting for every team as a second or third scoring option. The injuries made a lot of people forget about him. Also very effective with the Thunder last season, averaged nearly 19 a game, a 16-point scorer for his career, pretty solid if you ask me. Unfortunately, now stuck in Atlanta after signing 3 years $61 million. Serge Ibaka, who's totally changed his game throughout the years, entered the league as one of the most feared rim protectors, stopped everything at the basket, led the league in rejections twice with the Thunder, wasn't known for his offense at first, his outside shooting developed over time, made defensive first team from 2012 to 2014, his best All-Star case 2014 being the second option with Westbrook out. Ibaka went from underrated early on to overrated to underrated again. Orlando gave up Vic Oladipo and Domantas Sabonis to get him, an absolute travesty of a decision by that franchise. Vic and Domantas made all-star teams. Ibaka not the type of guy to help a bad team to become a good team, but instead a very useful role player on a title contender. Balled out for the 2019 Raptors, been playing recently at center to spread the floor, averaged 15 and 8 for the 2019 title team, capable of hitting big shots from the outside. After Kawhi left, Ibaka averaged a career best 15.4 points on a team with the second best regular season season record. Now the starting big for the Clippers, even though he seemed to have declined a little bit, still an upgrade for Montrezl Harrell. Lou Williams, the 3-time six-man winner, barely saw the court each of his first 2 seasons, averaged under 2 points, 4.3 points. His second year to start off his career, but motivated to get better after playing with Allen Iverson and seeing what the little guys can do. Sweet Lou progressed as a terrific 6-man who comes in and gets buckets. Williams even admits he probably would have been done in the NBA if he didn't accept a reserve role. Embraced being a 6-man, the all-time leading bench scorer, super crafty, knows how to draw fouls, played for 6 different teams, a one-time Laker, ball out in his early 30s. His prime 2018 to 2019 averaged 22.6 points for the Clippers, followed by a 20-point season where he helped win 2 games against Golden State by scoring 36 and 33, hit plenty of big shots throughout his career, including a few game winners to add to his mixtape. Now 34, still a good scorer, but a liability on D. Honorable mentions includes Nick Batum, Thaddeus Young, Danny Green, Taj Gibson, and Avery Bradley. Thank you so much for watching this video. Subscribe for more content, more good stuff coming soon. I love all of you. See you next time.